Oh, howdy all, grab yourself a beer, it's time for some Path of Exile discussion. Today, I wanted to put out a guide to the Eradicator encounter. The Eradicator is one of the 4 Elder Guardians, the other ones being the Constrictor, the Purifier, and the Enslaver, and videos for those are coming soon. Now, the Elder Guardian encounters take place at the end of a map. It is very important to note that there are a few mods that are really scary in these Guardian fights. And the actual fight against the Eradicator will inherit any map mods that are present on the zone that you're running them. For that reason, I suggest that you learn these fights on scoured maps and only attempt them on rare maps when you are very, very, very confident with the fight. So you're going to need to be afraid of any map mods that your build just can't do. So for instance, my build is terrified by physical damage reflection. But you'll also need to seriously respect any of the ones that make the Eradicator fight specifically much harder. And the ones that I would suggest watching out for are anything that reduces your player's ability to regenerate life and mana and energy shield, because the Eradicator will do a lot of small hits to you that are very hard to dodge. You want to avoid anything that allows the Eradicator to cast faster, and you want to avoid anything that increases the Eradicator's area of effect. We'll get to why that is in a sec when we start looking at his key moves. So, the most dangerous move that the Eradicator does is he rises up into the air and casts a skill that is quite similar to the player skill Lightning Tendrils in appearance. So it will conjure sort of blue lightning that will fly out over the arena, and you'll get to see that one quite shortly. When he's doing this, a lot of players misunderstand how to handle this. The Eradicator has a limit to how quickly he can turn. So if you're standing in front of him, and then you can instantly zap behind him, it's going to take the Eradicator something like a full second to turn around and be able to fire at you. However, if you're standing too close to the Eradicator, then his shots that he fires at his own feet will actually end up hitting you as well. So what you want to do here, when he's doing his Lightning Tendrils wannabe attack, you want to stand at a modest distance from him. If the Manner of Madness portal was the Eradicator, then you probably want to stand somewhere like this and run in tight circles around him. The faster your character's movement speed, the better, and that way the Eradicator will keep trying to turn and hit you. You won't always be able to do this because sometimes the Eradicator will get himself into a corner. When this happens, what you want to do is walk one way, then quickly use a teleport move skill to zap the other way, and then just walk back. Again, your goal is to make it so that he's hitting you as little as possible. If you've got a guard skill you self-cast, like this Steel Skin, then what you want to do is use it whenever you expect that the Eradicator's shots are going to catch up with your movement. So that's the most tricky of his skills. The rest of his skills mostly revolve around him flying up into the air and casting lightning runes on the ground that explode quickly, or conjuring lightning strikes. When he does these, the best trick is just to keep moving and don't retrace your steps. Again, you can walk around him in tight circles, and then he'll end up just continually missing you, unless he's got so much cast speed that he's from map mods that he's able to hit you anyway. Or you can just measure how many of them you can endure some, and then zip out of the way when you need to. Lastly, there are arena hazards. There are actually 3 different arenas in which you can fight the Eradicator, and I'm currently in the worst of them, the Manner of Madness. This one is a 3-phase encounter. Every time that you drop the Eradicator by 1/3 of his health, the arena and the arena hazards will change. We'll jump in, and we're currently in the 2nd phase of Manner of Madness, which has the worst arena hazards of any of the encounters. So go in there and demonstrate it. So we're just holding our grace period for a second here, and you can see this is his default attack, where he's casting his spells on the ground. Arena hazards are apparent, and now that's his more dangerous ability there. This is the Lightning Tendrils I was talking about. Here I'm able to actually block line of sight. You usually can't do that. That's something that's specific to this particular arena. And then the other thing that the Eradicator does is he'll go invincible sometimes, and this is your flask regen phase. When he does this, he'll summon a number of monsters. You need to kill all of these before the Eradicator will wake up and fight you again. And while he's in this phase, you'll be able to kill those monsters, which have about the same hit points as a typical rare monster, and regen flask charges by doing so. Here's the final room. These are much easier arena hazards, and you can run circles around the whole room and mostly be safe. Here he's gone up into the air. and he's casting his lightning runes on the ground, he'll always cast them at your feet, and he'll normally miss you. Here we go with the Lightning Tendrils skill, showcasing it properly. You'll see that as I'm running in tight circles around him, he's not really able to hit me. That one is harder to dodge. You do need to endure that when he goes up into the air and fires down that last bolt, you will need to endure it. Something I highly recommend in this fight for learning it is just come in here on a scoured map and focus on not killing the Eradicator, but just staying alive and running around in circles and letting the attacks miss you as much as possible. So try to avoid his attacks. You also notice the arena hazards are there. This thing is similar to the balls that you face in the final phase of the Katava fight, and you'll just need to manage those. They'll constrict your space, and that's the worst thing about them. And here we go. He's just about dead at this point. Splat. Hey, I got the Maven invitation off him as well. I needed one of those. So that's all it really is to the Eradicator. The key thing is range control. The key thing is that the Eradicator is most dangerous if you are at point-blank range. At that point, his Lightning Tendrils will never miss you. He is next most dangerous if you are at ultra-long range, because then his Lightning Tendrils will be able to track you, as he can turn faster than you can run circles around him. The sweet spot is being somewhere in the middle, and then the Eradicator's tendrils will miss you, and you'll be able to survive it. You know, you'll take the odd little bits of chip damage here and there, but I'm doing this with 75% lightning resist and only 5,000 total hit points, and I was managing fine. Lastly, because he's doing so much lightning damage, you're going to get shocked in this fight. I'm immune to being shocked because of the Elementalist Ascendancy and 7 Golems. That gives me 245% ailment resistance. Ailment avoidance. So well over 100%, I'm immune. However, if you're not immune to that to ailments, you're going to want a few more hit points than you otherwise would, because shocks are going to add up and they're going to cause you to take a lot more lightning damage. And worst of all, they're going to cause you to take more damage when you are in the most danger. So after the Eradicator's got a couple of hits on you, then you'll end up taking taking some bigger hits after that. Anyways, hopefully that's been useful. If you've got any comments or questions, fire away below. I do intend to do the other 3 Elder Guardians later, so they'll be coming in this series. And I've got to go back and do the Minotaur as well. Every time that I recorded the Minotaur, I ended up giving up on the video because it just failed my internal QA. So if you've got any questions, fire away. Otherwise, may your Varlorbs have interesting results.